You've been sold a lie about what dominance is. You think it's the loud one, the aggressive one, the one who talks over everybody and forces their way. That's not dominance. That's insecurity with the volume turned up. Real dominance makes no noise. It's the person who walks in calm, unbothered, completely in control of themselves, and somehow controls the entire room without raising their voice once. In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you what the dominant mindset actually is and how standards are the thing that builds it. Here's the truth nobody explains. You cannot dominate anything outside you until you've dominated what's inside you. The person who can't control their own impulses, their own emotions, their own schedule, their own mouth has no power, no matter how loud they get. And the person who has mastered themselves, they don't have to try to dominate a room. It happens automatically because everyone can feel that here is someone who is not at war with themselves. That's the whole game. Dominance starts as an inside job, always. Let's kill the myth first. The loudest person in any room is almost never the strongest. They're the one working hardest to seem strong. Real strength doesn't need to announce itself. The person who's actually in control doesn't have to prove it, because proving it would mean they were unsure, and they're not. Think about the most powerful people you've ever been around. Not the fake powerful, the actually powerful. They were usually calm, measured. They spoke less, not more. They didn't chase your approval, and they didn't flinch when you challenged them. That stillness is the signal, because a person who has dominated themselves has nothing to prove and nothing to defend. The loud one is performing power. The dominant one simply has it and doesn't need you to notice. So what does dominating yourself actually mean? It means you're the one giving the orders in your own life, not your impulses, not your moods, not your comfort, not other people's opinions. Most people are ruled from the inside. Their cravings tell them what to do and they obey. Their emotions flare and they react. Their comfort says stay down and they stay down. They're not in charge of themselves. They're a passenger, dragged around by whatever feeling is loudest in the moment. The dominant mindset flips that. You become the authority in your own head. When the craving says quit, you decide. When the emotion says explode, you decide. When comfort says tomorrow, you decide. You stop being governed by the weakest parts of yourself and you put the strongest part in charge. And here's what happens the moment you do that, you become almost impossible to control from the outside. Because everyone who tries to manipulate you is reaching for a lever, your ego, your fear, your impulses, and when you've mastered those yourself, there's no lever left to grab. Self-dominance is what makes you untouchable. Now here's the part that connects everything, and it's the core of what I teach. You don't build self-dominance through willpower. Willpower runs out. You build it through standards. A standard is a rule you've decided in advance, so you don't have to win the same battle every single day. The person without standards is negotiating with themselves constantly. Every morning is a fresh fight about whether to get up, whether to train, whether to hold the line. And they lose most of those fights because deciding in the moment when you're tired and comfortable is a losing position. The dominant person doesn't negotiate. They've already decided. The standard is set. There's no debate because the debate was settled before the moment arrived. That's why standards are the tool of self-dominance. Every standard you set and hold is one less thing your weaker self gets a vote on. You're not relying on feeling strong in the moment. You've built the strength into the structure of your life ahead of time. Here's what almost nobody connects. Once you dominate yourself, dominating the room takes care of itself and you never have to force it. People are drawn to certainty. In any group, humans instinctively look for the person who seems most in control, most grounded, least shakable, and they follow that energy without even realizing it. So when you walk in as someone who has mastered themselves, calm under pressure, unbothered by approval, completely settled in who you are, people feel it immediately. You don't have to dominate the conversation. You don't have to talk over anyone. Your stillness becomes the loudest thing in the room because everyone else is performing and you're the only one who isn't. That's the paradox the loud people will never understand. The more you need to control the room, the less you actually do. The less you need it because you've already got full command of yourself, the more the room bends towards you. Dominance chased is dominance lost. Dominance built inside radiates outward on its own. So understand what this actually makes you. Not a bully, not the loudest voice, something far more powerful. A person who cannot be moved, who can't be baited, can't be manipulated, can't be knocked off course by a bad mood or a hard day or someone else's opinion. A person who set their standards, holds them without exception, and therefore governs themselves completely, which means no one else gets to. That's the dominant mindset. It was never about power over other people. It's about total command of yourself. So complete that power over the room becomes a side effect you don't even have to reach for. Master the one thing you actually control, you and everything else stops being able to control you. So stop trying to be the loudest. Start becoming the most in command of yourself first. Pick one standard today and hold it like it's law. No negotiation, no exceptions, because every standard you hold is you taking the controls back from your weaker self. That's the first act of real dominance, not over anyone else, over you. Become the person no one can move because you already moved yourself first. If this hits something in you, like, comment, share, and subscribe, because everything on this channel is built to make you the standard version of yourself, the one you already know you're supposed to be. Drop the one standard you're holding like law from today in the comments. Now go take command. I'll see you in the next one.